Hey guys, one quick update just before the long weekend on the Dow Jones Industrials. You have a 4-hour time frame here. These are here the lows from late Feb, and that's where that latest rally topped out on the 29th of March. And to give you a better understanding what happened in that rally and what's happening right now, let me just draw here a few lines. What happened is we had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pattern to the upside. It was a very clean structure because that high didn't get overlapped by that low. And what we usually expect after 5 waves to the upside, we expect at least 3 waves to the downside in a ABC. That's what happened first, A, B, C, but then there was another leg up and a third leg to the downside. But that doesn't really matter as long as these lows keep overlapping by these highs, and that's what happened here several times. And in the best case, when we get a third leg down, it moves in a falling channel, which is also called a bullish flag, and that was also what was happening here. And let me just clear that up. And in the best case, in that consolidation phase here, we hit a so-called retracement level. And when we just connect that low with that latest high we made, you see we hit that 38.2 retracement quite well. Not only once, we had it like a second time, a third, and a fourth time, actually. And when we have these, kind of strong rallies to the upside, we want to end up somewhere in between 38.2 and 61.8 to keep moving to the upside. And we also could consider that as a first leg, a second one, a third. So we could expect now a fifth leg at least as big as this one over here, the first one we had. So that will end up somewhere over here. That doesn't mean that we make new highs necessarily. What I can tell you is I also work with cycles a lot, and major cycles usually, that's from my study, they usually last 5 to 7 weeks, and we are on the 7th week and we make these lows here presently. So and every cycle usually starts with an intense rally, and the Dow Jones most of the time it's around 1,000 points, so that will bring us back to these highs. And what happens after that, if it will turn bearish or bullish, we only can tell that once we go through these highs over here, but that's a different story. Let's hop into another chart. It just zoomed in a bit more. It's the same time frame, a 4-hour time frame, and I was twittering that a lot. You see here a bullish falling Wolver Wave wedge, which that blue thing here is that overshooting area, and that worked quite well here the entire time. You see here that 38.2 retracement again, which acted as support several times. And I also mentioned this is a so-called 3 drive or triple zigzag. So we have 3 legs to the downside, which are almost the same in their price, in their lengths to the downside. That target line is quite steep. It runs presently at 35,742, and there's another target line which is even steeper, but much closer at 35,22. So there are still a few targets which are missing to the upside, and we have the same pattern. It looks a bit different also in the cash market. So we have gaps in here, and the same pattern, that falling bullish Wolver Wave wedge. It actually looks much smoother than in the future, because that target line isn't as steep, and it runs presently at 35,080. That's actually my first target I'm going for on the Dow Jones Industrials. Have an eye on that trend line here that presently runs upon opening at 34,690. The bulls need to break through there to have a proper breakout. And there's another thing for the bears. It's not very clear, and I don't really like it since we're on the last phase, on the last week of my cycle. It might turn out as a shoulder head shoulder pattern. So there's a left shoulder here, a head, and a right shoulder. and it would be a falling, slightly falling trend line. I wouldn't consider that right now. I rather see it as a bear trap right now from down here. But you know, it's a stock market and anything can happen. So, and I can't look into the future. So just have that in mind. That might be one, but as things look right now, I don't think so. Yeah, that's it for the Dow Jones. Make the best out of it. I hope I cleared up a few things for you, and enjoy your Easter holiday, and probably make a few more videos on the weekend if I don't find time. We see each other next week on Twitter, or I do another episode of the German DAX. Have a good one and all the best to you. Thanks.